Hello there, lovely folks of YouTube. Bren here. So I'm going to show you my recipe for a tisane or herbal infusion that is good for bringing about psychic dreaming or just enhancing dreams. Now, tisanes or infusions are usually known as herbal teas. It's a slight bit of a misnomer. The word tea actually only refers to an infusion of the actual tea plant, which is the Camellia sinensis. When we're making an infusion that does not have any tea, it's more appropriate to call it a tisane or tisane, but most people still call it herbal teas because that's easier to say. It's more widely recognized, so we're just going to call it an infusion. Now, a true tea, meaning the camellia plant, Camellia sinensis, only takes about 2 to 3 minutes of steep time, but most tisanes or infusions take anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes to really get the true essence of the plant. It becomes an issue when you're mixing tea into your herbal tisanes because then they have different infusion times and the tea can actually make it a little bitter because it's not supposed to steep that long. But in this case, we don't have any tea in ours at all. It is just a tisane herbal infusion. All the ingredients have about roughly the same steep time of about 10 minutes, so it works out well. So we have 5 ingredients in this tea, which I shouldn't call it a tea. I just talked about how I shouldn't do that. We have 5 ingredients in this infusion. This is mugwort. Mugwort is usually associated with the element of earth, planet Venus. It is a wonderful, wonderful plant for increasing psychic powers and aiding in prophetic dreaming. You can use it as an infusion. The infusion is a lot of the time used to kind of wash any tools that you would use for psychic scrying, like a scrying glass or a crystal ball would be washed with a mugwort infusion. Mugwort smoke is often used to anoint other tools like your tarot cards or runes or things of that nature. You can put it in a pillow just to sort of aid dreaming, or you can drink it as a tea, which is what we're going to do today. Mugwort is an emmenagogue, so that means that in some people it can either bring on or strengthen the menses. I actually have a friend who cannot drink this infusion of mine because the effect is so striking on her. So if you find that that's an issue for you and you cannot have mugwort, I would recommend replacing it with either spearmint or peppermint, and then increasing some of the other ingredients in this infusion in order to make up for its lack. But mugwort is our number 1 ingredient. Let's see, what's our next one here? Where is it? This one. This is lemon balm. You can see some of my jars have my little pictures on them, some of them don't. This one I just haven't gotten around to putting a picture on it yet. This is how I identify my herbs, actually, but they do have the names on the bottom just in case. So, lemon balm. This is also associated with the element of water. Astrologically, it's associated with the moon. It is a very calming herb. It is good for just kind of calming down the nerves. This is one of the things that kind of helps to physiologically aid the process of falling asleep. But magically, it also has some correspondences with healing and success. So that's a good one to just add for that property there. Let's see, next on our list is yarrow. Yarrow is another one of our divination herbs, okay? Very widely used as a divination aid. I know that there's a Chinese system where they do divination by throwing the yarrow stalks. It's also just a good herb for removing negativity as well. Astrologically associated with the planet Venus, has that element of water, so you'll find there's a theme here. You know, a lot of watery kind of plants are good for dreaming. So we've got yarrow. Next one is peppermint. This is the one I said you could increase if you wanted to reduce your mugwort. This is a good one, just, you know, it tastes good. That's the number 1 reason to add it. It tastes good. But also another one of those watery plants associated with Venus, helps to aid sleep, does have some dream enhancing capabilities, and also just considered to be a protective plant as well. So that's a good one. And our last one, of course, is chamomile. Everybody knows chamomile helps you sleep. That's kind of like our little folk remedy for sleep here, chamomile. So anytime I'm going to be making something that is intended to help somebody sleep, it's probably going to have chamomile in it. Unless, of course, they're allergic to it, in which case, if anyone is allergic to any of these, don't drink it. Just common sense, please. So this is the only one. This is a watery plant, but this is the one that actually has astrological associations with the sun. And again, it's because of the appearance of the flower. It looks like a little sun. Very yellow. Yellow plants are typically associated with the sun. Very calming plant. Helps to aid sleep. Has that protective aspect because of that solar energy. And also just very tasty. A good chamomile. Oh, has that very floral, sort of almost apple-y kind of scent to it. So it also helps to make our tea taste good. Our infusion tastes good. I am going to be tripping myself up on that all the time. So, get these back off to the side here. We're going to start with our mugwort. This is our workhorse. So I'm going to add 2 parts of this. And I'm just going to use a tablespoon measure for my, my parts measure. Again, your parts are just whatever measurement tool you happen to use. If you want to use teaspoons, that works. If you want to use cups, more power to you. I'm going to use tablespoons. This is going to be a little tricky because these are the whole leaf and they're kind of all clumped together on each other. So I'm just kind of do the best I can getting approximately 2 tablespoons out. That into my little mortar and pestle. This is an olive wood mortar and pestle. It was gifted to me by a friend. I'm very appreciative of it. I only use this for herbs. I don't use it for anything that's really hard, like my resins or seeds or anything like that. Just the very soft stuff. So I'm kind of breaking this up with my fingers at first because, like I said, this is the whole herb. And I'm going to just give that a little bit of processing here. Mugwort does tend to get a little sticky. It clumps up on itself a little bit. Sometimes actually just, like I said, pulling it apart helps. But also just like if you have a pair of scissors you can actually just use the scissors to kind of cut this up. And this will break up a little bit more as we add our other herbs in here as well because that will kind of help to mix it a little bit better. So mugwort is in. Next we're going to do our lemon balm. That's this one. Yep. And we're also going to do about 2 parts of the lemon balm as well. Now, all of these herbs, these are all things that I grew in my garden. They're fairly easy to grow. But, of course, if you don't have a garden yet, or just don't have a garden, period, you can always get these from various places online. Most of these are very reasonable because they're so easily grown. They're very easy to obtain. Nothing wild or crazy or expensive here. Just all very simple, easy to obtain plants. There we go. That's our lemon balm. Alright, so we're going to do next our yarrow. We're going to do 1 part of that. And you can see this is mostly, what I have is mostly the flowering tops. That's just what I prefer to use. A lot of the time when you buy yarrow commercially, or really any herb that you buy commercially, you're going to find that you get sometimes the less choice parts of the plant. They're still just as effective. I tend to get more flowers than anything on my yarrow, so that's what I have. So, and then this one we're going to just start breaking that up a little bit. Doesn't need to be ground up super fine. I'm really just kind of getting it into smaller pieces and a more homogeneous mix. Is our peppermint. Now it's when we're really going to start to smell good. So I'm going to do 1 part of peppermint. And I'm going to add in the chamomile at this time as well, just because I can. 1 part of chamomile. And again, not giving this really super highly processed, just kind of getting it to the point where it's kind of broken up into some reasonably sized pieces and just mainly using my mortar and pestle to just kind of mix it together. There we go. Oh, it smells good. It Smells good. All right. So that's it. That's our infusion. I'm just going to move this into a little mason jar. You can see this is that clump of mugwort fibers here. We're going to mix that, break that up a little better. And then, of course, once it's in the mason jar with the lid on it, we can also just shake it up to help mix it up more appropriately then as well. Oh, that's one of my hairs. See, this is why I don't usually do this with my hair down. Luckily, this mix is for me and not for anyone else. So, it happens. So there we go. That's my little dreaming tea there. So this is something that I would probably do anywhere between 1 and 2 teaspoons to a cup, depending on how strong I want it to be. Typically, I brew in a pot. It's about a 2-cup size pot, so I'll do about 2 teaspoons into that pot. Let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can feel free to sweeten it with honey or whatever sweetener you choose. Drink it right before bedtime. So usually about like an hour or so before bedtime is when I start drinking this, and then it hits me right as I'm hitting my bed. Because this is a loose leaf tea, if you don't have your own reusable tea bags, you can use a tea strainer. Or my personal favorite shortcut is I have a French press, and I will actually make tea in my French press, because then I can just steep it and press it, and all those tea solids go to the bottom, and I just pour my tea off the top. It's a wonderful thing to use, and it gets nice double use out of my French press. It's not just for coffee. You can use it for infusions as well. So, but that's basically it. It's very easy to make. You're really just kind of mixing your herbs together and then steeping them. And then you have yourself a little infusion to enhance your dreams. So I hope I'll see you again soon, and sweet dreams.